And then the Celtics came out and blew the doors off the Knicks in what was supposed to be a really competitive game, and came out and emphatically showed they are clearly the team to beat.
Darius, congrats on the win. A 6-0 start for you guys for the first time since 2016. You told me earlier that this team is special as well and looks very good to this point.
Everybody feels important. Everybody feels like they're part of it, of the offense. So,
Why are the Magic a team to watch out for in the East this season?
I think we got a lot of momentum heading into the next season, and I think everybody's just going to get a year better, a year stronger, and just more developed, and we should be good next year.
There is no reason to not have sky-high expectations for the Knicks. This is the most talented Knicks roster we have seen in 2 decades.
I love this starting five. I think it's as good. It is probably the best starting five in the NBA right now.
This is a historically bad start for Milwaukee. This 1-4 start is the worst by any Bucks team that Giannis has been on since he entered the league in 2013.
Excuseless. That's the word of the day when it comes down to the Milwaukee Bucks this season.
The Boston Celtics in 2025 have the best odds of winning the Eastern Conference according to BetMGM, sitting at plus 170, more than doubling the next closest team's chance. The Celtics also have the best odds according to DraftKings at plus 155. As a matter of fact, the Celtics have the best odds of winning the East from all of the main 7 betting websites. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand the Celtics are good, like really good, but is the gap between them and the rest of the teams in the East really this wide? I mean, the Celtics got pretty lucky with opposing teams' injuries last year. Are there really no other teams, Eastern Conference, that are in the Celtics' orbit this year? Well, maybe. So we're gonna expose why your favorite team in the East won't win the conference championship this year. To get things started, I think we should get rid of a few teams towards the bottom of the standings. Even though many of these teams really don't need an explanation of why I'm getting rid of them, I'm still going to give one. The Detroit Pistons have Cade Cunningham, and that's about it. In New York, there's 2 teams full of role players, the functional and the dysfunctional version. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, sorry, I meant to say Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, could win the championship every single year. They just choose not to, to make it fair for everyone else. Don't take my word about the Raptors' rebuilding season. Just listen to Scotty Barnes directly.
He called this a rebuilding year.
But of course, it just takes time. So just don't get frustrated throughout that process, and just keep trying to focus on our main goal of just trying to get better.
The Hornets could be nice with a healthy Melo and Brandon Miller, but I think it's still too soon for them. I have a better chance of seeing a dinosaur walk outside than seeing Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball healthy together. They also have Patrick Williams starting at their power forward, which tells me everything I need to know. The Hawks have Trae Young. That's about it. So these are the 7 teams in the East that have 0 chance of winning the NBA Finals. All the other 8 teams in the East, the Heat, Pacers, Magic, Cavs, Bucks, 76ers, Knicks, and Celtics, are all fair game. I'm tired of everyone hyping up their favorite team. Let's expose them.
The rebound, that's 3 for him off the Malik Beasley miss. Beasley out of Florida State. Nice kick in. Open 3, Hero. Kaboom! Rozier with Ivy on his hip to the paint. On the basket attack for 2.
Wishing for a miracle. The Miami Heat, ever since 2020, have cemented themselves as the underdogs of the NBA, making 2 finals appearances while never holding home court advantage in any of those series. But unfortunately for Heat fans, their Cinderella days are probably over. Jimmy Butler's 35 years old and only getting older. When looking at the past 25 NBA champions, we have never seen a player that's led a team to a championship over the age of 35. Most of the players on this list are around the age of 27 to 30. The only other time besides LeBron in 2020 when a player 35 years or older led their team to a championship was Michael Jordan in 1998. Can MJ's son continue this legacy? Not only is the Heat's star starting to get old, but historically underdogs don't actually win the finals. I know, crazy, right? Teams that aren't expected to win normally don't win, but when looking at those same 25 previous NBA champs, we've never seen a team with a 4 seed or worse win the NBA Finals. It's pretty much a requirement to have a really good regular season to win the NBA Finals. The harsh reality for underdogs, it was only Hakeem Olajuwon who won in 1994 and 1998 95 as the 4 seed or lower both years. While Bam Adebayo was hitting his prime, Jimmy Butler's getting old, the Heat lost Caleb Martin, and with the increased competition in the East in 2025, the Heat might be out of luck.
Batted a number of times, collected by Wade. Now Garland drives, he'll find Mobley, and Mobley hammers it home.
Shot by Dick, he did a good job of giving a pump fake, getting Merrill off his feet.
Spencer to the basket, he puts it up and in. He's guarded by Caldwell Pope. Spent his last few seasons with the Nuggets as Mitchell pulls up right in the face of Caldwell Pope.
No offense. The Cleveland Cavaliers have one of the best backcourt duos with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. Last year, they ranked amongst the top 4 backcourt scoring duos, averaging over 44 points per game combined. You can even make the case that they're a top 2 offensive backcourt in the league. Ja Morant and Desmond Bane's combined production both fall off when they're both healthy and playing together at the same time. Similar thing with the Knicks, 2 players that got the lion's share of the offense last year. I highly doubt their numbers will be this high playing together at the same time. The Cavs also have one of the best defenses in the league, with their 2 twin towers of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen protecting the rim, and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell clamping down on the league's best guards. The Cavs placed 6th place last year in defensive rating, but the real problem this team faces is their offense around Mitchell and Garland. Both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are decent dump-off guys, but they really can't create any of their own offense for themselves. Max Strus is completely reliant on Garland and Mitchell for open shots. Karis LeVert is decent, but guys like Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Georges Niang are all limited on offense. So when either Garland or Mitchell or both have bad nights in the postseason, facing some of the best perimeter defenders in the league, what's the rest of the team gonna do? D-Mitch can only carry this team so far.
Siakam is his matchup. It's a good one. Pull-up jumper, Banchero, a beauty.
Big playoff run last year. Just building off that.
Had a good season.
Yep.
Banchero, free throw line jumper, good again. All on either end of the floor. Banchero gets downhill, runs right up the back of Isaiah Jackson.
Also no offense. The Orlando Magic have a very similar problem that the Cavs have. They have no offense outside of their star player. Paolo Banchero over the last 2 years has established himself as one of the best offensive players in the league, scoring 22 points a game, grabbing 7 boards, and dishing out 5 assists a game last year, while leading the Magic to its best record since a prime Dwight Howard was on the roster. The Orlando Magic are known for their stellar defense, finishing 2nd in the league in defensive rating last year. The Magic are packed to the brim with defensive stoppers, there's no secret about that, but this team can't make a shot to save their lives sometimes. The Orlando Magic placed 22nd in offensive rating last year. When looking at NBA champs from 2000 to 2024, there have been 0 teams that have been able to get away with this piss poor of an offense. Even the Ben Wallace Pistons, who were known for having a really terrible offense, placed 18th in offensive rating in 2004 and 2nd in defensive rating. But that was during a time when defensive teams ruled the league in a slower and more gritty era of basketball, or the dead ball era as most people would say. The Magic, in their typical 9-man rotation, only have 1 player that shot over 40% from 3 last year, that being KCP. That's pretty concerning in an era dominated by 3-point shooting. It's not 2004 anymore, Orlando.
Baseline 5 of the shot clock. Sprays it out to Mathurin, baseline drive, and the reverse! Goes into Siakam, working against Brown in the mid-post. Got to his spot, knocks it down. Brown switches on to Halliburton. Siakam for the lead. Got him.
No defense. The Indiana Pacers are one of the most fun teams to watch play in the league, with their super fast-paced play of game combined with Tyrese Halliburton's insane passing. The Pacers last year placed 2nd in the league in offensive rating and would routinely put up point totals in the 130s, 140s, and even 150s. The Pacers were putting up point totals that would match all-star games just about a decade ago, but their problem is the exact opposite as the Magic and Cavs. The Pacers can't play a lick of defense. Looking back at the graph I just showed you, only 5 teams have been able to get away with a defense that's 10th or worst, and only one team has been able to get away with a bottom third defense, that being the 2001 Lakers, who had a prime Shaquille O'Neal and a near prime Kobe Bryant, and who were famous for not even trying during the regular season. I'm sorry, Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. You guys aren't Kobe and Shaq. That's Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, remember? Anyways, it's tough to win a championship when you're letting your opponent's wing duo score over 60 points a game in the playoffs. The Pacers aren't quite there yet.
This is a historically bad start for Milwaukee. This 1-4 start is the worst by any Bucks team that Giannis has been on since he entered the league in 2013.
Excuseless. That's the word of the day when it comes down to the Milwaukee Bucks this season.
Too old. The Milwaukee Bucks are a team with a bunch of question marks attached to them. Is Giannis still one of the best players in the world? Is Damian Lillard still good enough to be a second option on a championship contending team? Is Doc Rivers the right coach for this team? Is the fit between Dame and Giannis just too non-existent? Are the newly acquired role players really going to put them over teams like Philly, New York, and Boston? Is this team just too old and injury prone? We've seen that this Milwaukee Bucks roster is capable of winning a championship when things sway their way. However, things haven't really swayed their way recently. The Bucks haven't had a healthy roster in the playoffs since their championship in 2021, and with the way things are going now, they'll probably have even more injuries again come playoff time. The Bucks, unlike any of these other teams, don't have any glaring offensive or defensive issues. The Bucks just need to figure out the duo of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo and remain healthy for another playoff run. Are they contenders? Absolutely. What are the chances that everything goes right for them? Pretty slim.
Third straight Detroit turnover. Let's see if the Sixers can finally take advantage. They're on a little 10-0 run. Make it a 13-0 run by Malik Beasley, another veteran. That the Pistons brought in the offseason. Maxey, the hoop, and the hog. Taking a seat. Maxey, the pitter-pat dribble, looking for the same.
Injuries. The 76ers have shown us over the last few years that they are one of the best teams in the league when they're fully healthy. Philly got off to a scorching hot start at the beginning of last season, with a record as high of 29-13 at the second seed. But once the big man fell, it went all downhill for Philly, and the same thing happened last playoffs. The 76ers really have no other issues besides this. They have the star power with Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and the 2023 MVP Joel Embiid. They have the role players around them to support. Embiid, despite playing on one leg last postseason, was literally averaging prime Shaquille O'Neal numbers at 33 and 11 a game, proving that he really isn't a playoff choker. The 76ers just never had a healthy playoff run with this roster. And will they in 2025, especially with adding injury-prone Paul George? I really doubt it.
Neesmith, Brunson splits the defense, sidestep, righty layup, won't go, Hart right there on the first one. Played a lot of G League.
Deuce trying to get on the books. They've been on his case.
Deuce McBride nails his first shot. Battling. Brunson the fake, Brunson the drive, layup is good. Don't think so.
Pacers in an offensive stupor now.
Brunson finds an opening drive, layup is good.
No superstar. Jalen Brunson, by many, is seen as a superstar that can't carry a team deep in the playoffs. The Knicks last season shocked a lot of people. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks placed as the second seed in the East, beating out a lot of good teams like the Bucks, Cavs, Magic, and 76ers for that second seed. Brunson led the Knicks to a record of 50-32. The last time that happened in New York's history, well, it's been a minute. The Knicks coming into the 2025 season have a really interesting team filled with a bunch of elite role players, but the question remains, can the king of the role players step up and lead the Knicks to their first championship in over 50 years? Or is this team filled with a bunch of supporting cast pieces gonna cave under the pressure of playing against bona fide NBA superstars come playoff time?
And then the Celtics came out and blew the doors off the Knicks in what was supposed to be a really competitive game, and came out and emphatically showed they are clearly the team to beat.
Depth. That's all I have to say about the Celtics. This team literally has zero weaknesses outside of this. The Celtics over the last few seasons have built up their team into the league's most formidable juggernaut. They've developed the duo of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum over several seasons. They found players who were under the radar and got them for cheap, and they filled out the rest of their starting lineup throughout trades. The Celtics have by far the most stacked starting lineup in the league, maybe the most stacked ever. But with this elite of a starting five, they had to give up several of their key bench pieces. The only weakness that the Celtics has is their lack of depth, specifically front court depth, because the Celtics have Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser, who have proved themselves as worthy rotation players last year. Their problem is at the center position. After Porzingis, it gets kind of thin at the big man position. While many people would argue that the Celtics were just fine without Porzingis throughout the Eastern Conference playoff rounds last year when he was hurt, the Celtics also lucked out of playing against two of the three best big men in the world last year because of injuries. If Porzingis goes out, do you really feel comfortable putting a 38-year-old Al Horford or Luke Cornett on a red-hot Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, or Nikola Jokic in the NBA Finals? This is the one, and I think the only issue that could take out the Celtics. So, did your Eastern Conference Championship contender get exposed? Let me know in the comments why your favorite team will win or why your least favorite team won't win. And let me know if you want a Western Conference version of this.